Okay, ready? Here we go. Hey, y'all, I'm Pastor Jason. No, we're going to start over. Don't use that. Hey, everybody, my name is Jason Surdy. I'm the new senior pastor here at Lake Travis United Methodist Church. I want to invite you to something special that's happening, and this is a youth-only event. It's called a Cottage meeting, and it's a great opportunity for me to get to know you. And I'll ask you some questions, and then you ask me some questions too. And we're going to get the conversation started today. So Jordan's given me a stack of cards here, and I've never seen the questions on here, and I'm going to answer them right here, right now. If you had to eat an insect bigger than a ladybug, what would it be? Bigger than a ladybug? Oh, okay. It can't be a fly because I know what flies land on. Not a mosquito. Not a roach. Oh, man. Can I just eat the ladybug?
Yeah, you can.
All right, I'm going with the ladybug. All right, there we go. Eating the ladybug. What movie traumatized you for life? Oh, that's an easy one. Pink Floyd's The Wall. If you've never seen it, it will traumatize you too. Don't watch it. All right, that's a good one. Pet dragon or pet unicorn? Ooh. Oh, pet dragon for sure. 1, they fly, and 2, they breathe fire. I mean, what else do you need? Seriously, right? I mean, unicorns are cool and all, but no, pet dragon for sure, as long as he had a saddle that I could ride. Biggest ministry joy? Ooh, yeah. Well, I'm going to answer that in 2 parts. Because there's one that happens pretty regularly, and that's serving communion every Sunday. That is such a joy and a pleasure to me to be able to look people in the face and serve them the body and blood and share the grace of Christ with them. But I think the other part is when the light switches on with someone, when they're in that journey with Jesus, and that light goes on, excuse me, and they just go, I get it. I know I'm loved. I know he loves me for who I am, and that to me is just, that's a great part of the ministry. How many times have you wanted to quit ministry? Ooh, is the bishop watching this? Or
If they follow us.
Yeah. I hope the bishop's not watching this. You know, honestly, never. I've never wanted to quit ministry. I'm a second career pastor. I was in the restaurant business for almost 30 years. And there were 1,000 times that I wanted to quit that business. I can tell you that right now. But ministry, no. No, because you know what? For the first time in my life, I don't feel like I have a job. I have a vocation and a calling. And so, yeah, there have been some tough days. And there's been days where I get up and I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do what I have to do today. But I never wanted to quit. One piece of advice you wish you could give yourself when you started ministry. I think that would be, man, don't try to do it all yourself. There are a lot of great and gifted people at every church, and lean on them when you need to. And I think there's another piece that goes along with it, so cut yourself some slack. You can't be everything to everybody when you're in ministry. And just, stay within yourself and do what you can. Do dishes or mow the lawn? Super easy. I don't do dishes. I washed dishes in high school. And when I was in the restaurant business, and so now I cook, Sandy cleans, that's the deal. All right, so there we go. All right. What is one hidden talent you have? Oh, hidden talent.
Yeah, what you got?
God, you see between my obvious good looks and singing voice? Hidden talent. I'm really good at crossword puzzles.
Oh, nice.
Really good at crossword puzzles. I grew up, my dad always did them. So he would do the hard one from the New York Times, and I would do the easy one from the local paper in San Diego. And I just grew up doing them, and I love to do them. They keep your mind sharp, and when you get older, you gotta do that. Do you prefer officiating weddings or funerals? Oh man, that's a great question, and by far the answer is funerals.
Really?
Believe it or not, yes. Weddings, I've done a lot of weddings where people wanted the space. It wasn't about the holiness of the moment, it was about the wedding. And with funerals though, it's about the holiness of the moment. Right? And you're giving this comfort to people who are grieving. And you're talking about the resurrection, right? Which is the core of our faith. And so, yeah, that's an easy one. Is it more emotionally demanding? Absolutely. The funerals are, but I prefer them. What is not real that you wish was real? Dragons, unicorns, Star Wars, and Middle Earth. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, I got
Yes.
you.
Yeah. Yes. If you had to have an animal head instead of yours, what would you have? Wow. Just the head.
Just the head.
Well, definitely not a horse, because then everybody would say, "Why the long face?" I'd say a bear.
Ooh, why?
I'd say a bear. I just think bears look cool. No, not a koala bear. They have like big ears. That would look funny. I got like a grizzly bear. Like I don't know. I like bears. Yeah, animal head. And if I couldn't do the bear, probably a lion with the mane, like a male lion with the mane and stuff and the teeth. It's pretty cool. And the roar. If I could get to do the roar,
I think it's included.
is it included with the vocal cords? I'm in. While you were a teenager, what was your relationship with your parents like, and what is it like now? So, good question. So, my parents were divorced when I was 1 year old. So I grew up knowing that they were divorced. But they always had a great relationship, shared custody. And so I lived with my mom, but I visited my dad a lot. And then we moved to separate cities, and I moved to Tomball, Texas, and my dad moved with my mom, and my dad moved to San Diego, California. And so I got to go visit him every time I could during the breaks and summer and Christmas and all that good stuff. But always even though my dad was far away, I've always had a very, very strong relationship with both my parents. Growing up, I agreed with my dad more on a lot of things, and not so much my mom. But now I agree with my mom more on things, and not so much my dad. And we've just changed and diverged and taken different paths in our lives. But yeah, I had a good relationship with my parents in my teens. What rule makes no sense to you? Ooh. So like rule or law or just anything. All of the above, huh?
Oh yeah.
Other than paying taxes? We're coming back to that. We're going to hold this off to the side. What rule? Okay. Biggest ministry mistake. There was a specific time when there was someone who was in the hospital. We didn't know how sick they were, but it didn't seem imminent, like death was imminent. And so I visited them once, and then was planning on visiting them again. And a couple things came up, and I pushed it because we didn't think it was that serious. And they passed away. And I didn't get to visit them that second time. It was sudden. And I regretted that for quite a while. Like, hey man, I should have found and made the time. And yeah, I still think about that sometimes. If you can meet one male and one female in the Bible, who are they? Not including Jesus, of course, because he was the number one at the top of the list at all times. I've always been drawn to Matthew. His redemption story, before and after, to me is amazing, and it really speaks to me. One female, Deborah, from Judges. She was bad mamma jamma. To be a woman in that time and in that place and be called upon to lead, and what that took, had to be she had to be an incredible person to take that on. You can remove one pizza topping forever. What do you pick? Anchovies. That's the grossest thing ever that goes on a pizza. Why would anybody put dead fish on a pizza? What rule makes no sense to you? I'm going to do this the most gracious way I can. How about that? Okay? There are some denominations that have really specific rules about who can take communion. And that drives me nuts. We have an open table. That's one of the reasons I'm a Methodist pastor. We don't own this table, and you don't have to go through any classes or do anything special or be anybody special to receive the grace of Jesus Christ. There you go. That's all I got. So, God bless y'all, and hope to see you soon.